All right, good afternoon, Algebra 1. We're going to move on to the fourth lesson this week. Again, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I have so much faith that you guys can do this. So today we're going to talk about multiplying special cases, which means I'm going to give you a pattern to follow. If you follow this pattern, it'll be so easy, breezy, lemon squeezy, beautiful cover girl. You got this so much. I know, girl. All right, so here we go. For today, you're going to need paper, pencil, your textbook, page 504, a basic calculator, and then tonight's homework. It's homework 70. It's online. Again, these are just really not a whole lot of questions each night, just a few each night to make sure that you guys get to practice these. And it's a concept you have to have for next year. So please, please, please do not cheat. Do not Mathway. Do not photo math these. Really watch the videos and learn how to do this. Otherwise, you're going to set yourself up for failure for next year. All right? So here we go. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is the squares of a binomial. So we're going to first understand what it means to square something. So when we square something, remember we raise it to the second power. So this means I'm going to take something and make it to the second power, like 5 squared, which means 5 times 5. A binomial means I'm going to take a 2-term and I'm going to raise it to the second power. So we're going to say a plus b squared. So here we have a binomial, 1-term, 2-term, binomial. Square raised to the second power. So this is the square of a binomial. So to solve this is saying any term, it could be positive or negative, plus any other term is going to produce us the square of a binomial. So there's a rule that says how we can do this. So if we have something written like this, we don't have to do the whole long way. We're going to use a method which says I'm going to take the first term, which is a, and I'm going to square it. Then I'm going to take the 2 terms in here, a times b, so a times b, and then I'm going to multiply that answer times 2, so plus 2. Then I'm going to take the last term, which is the b, and I'm going to square it. So let's do one like this, where we have an a plus b. We're going to actually do 2 of these. We're going to do an x plus 8, 1 squared, and we're going to do a 5m minus 2 squared. So we're going to do 2 different ones. One where we have, what is it, 5m plus 2, not minus 2. Okay, so 5m plus 2. All right, so binomial, 1 term plus 1 term, and a binomial, 1 term plus 1 term. Okay, so we're going to show you where we have one where it has a coefficient of 1 and one where it has a coefficient of 5. But the rules are going to be the same. So in our first term, this x is in the same location as your a. And this positive 8 is in the same location as your b. So my a value is x and my b value is 8. So I'm going to take my a value, which is x, and square it, plus 2 times my a value, which is x, times my b value, which is 8. Plus, I'm going to take my b value, which is 8, and then I'm going to square it. So when it's plus, all of these signs are positive, plus and plus. Alright, so then we're going to finish it out. So we're going to take x and square it. Remember we talked about the power to power, we multiply? So we learned this in chapter 7. So 2 times 1 is 2, so it becomes x to the second. X times x is x squared. Beautiful. Then multiply, positive 2 times x is 2x. But remember I told you I want to multiply the coefficients first. So 2 times 8 is 16, and then our only variable is x, so 16x. And then 8 times 8 is 64. Alright, so we're going to try the next one. So this whole 5m is my a value, and this whole 2 back here is my b value. So my a value is 5m, and my b value is 2. So I'm going to follow my pattern. I'm going to take my a value, which is 5m, and square it, plus 2 times my a value, which is 5m, times my b value, which is 2, plus my b value, which is 2, and then I will square it. Alright, so far so good? Alright, so then we're going to square. I'm going to do 5 times 5, which is 25, and m times m squared. Multiply our coefficients. 2 times 5 is 10, times 2, 20. And then we have the variable m. And then we're going to do plus 2 times 2, which is 4. Final answer. Alright, that's when we do the sum of the squares. We square the sum of a binomial. So now we're going to do it when it is not plus, but minus. So a minus b squared. We do a minus b squared. The only thing that's going to be different is our middle term. So we're going to have our a value and square it. We're going to do a times negative b, or a times b value times 2. So minus 2 times our a value times our b value, plus, because when we square a negative times a negative, we get a positive, our b value. It'll be your value minus this value plus this value, unless we have some negatives in here, and that will change things, and we'll talk about that. So here we go. We're going to use these same guys up here, but we'll just change their signs. We'll make this an x minus 8 squared, and we'll do a 5m minus 2 squared. Alright, so we use the same rules. Alright, so here we go. Alright, we're going to take our a value, which is 1x, and our b value, which is 8. B value, Hubert. Alright, so our a value, which is 1x, and we're going to square it, minus 2 times our a value, which is x, and our b value, which is 8. And then plus our b value, which is 8, and then we'll square it. Then we simplify. X squared is x squared. Then negative 2 times 8 is negative 16, and then we have the variable x. Second term is your b value. So we take our a value, which is 5m, and we square it. This time minus 2, and then our a value, which is 5m, plus our b value, which is 2, and then squared. So we get 5 times 5, still 25. And m squared, well, that's m squared. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 times 2 is negative 20. And the variable we have is m. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Final answer. So this is squaring a polynomial. Alright? That's the first thing we got to learn. We only have one more thing to learn. Alright, we're going to teach you the next one, which is called the product of a sum and a difference. So first we have to know what sum means and what difference means. Well, sum means to add. So this means to add. And difference, well, this means to subtract. So now what we're taking is two binomials that are being added together and a set of binomials that are being subtracted together. So the rule they have, we're going to just say a plus b. So a plus b. That's the sum. One monomial plus another binomial. Difference means they're same values except a minus b. So to be the product and sum and difference, they have to have the same number in the a spot, and they have to have the same number in the b spot, except one time you're going to be adding and the next time you're going to be subtracting. Alright? So when we solve this, the final answer will always be a squared minus b squared. And I'm going to show you the reason why this always happens when we start using these with numbers. So we're going to do simple ones, the same ones we did before, but we'll do x plus 8 times x minus 8. Notice that both their first terms are x and their b terms are 8, but one's being a sum and one's being a difference. So this means my a term is a and my b term is 8. So my a terms are both x and my b terms are both 8. So when I go to solve this, I take my a term, which is x, and I square it. And I minus my b term, which is 8, and I square it. So x squared, well, is x squared minus, and then 8 times 8 is 64. So the reason why they do this is a short method for you. You have to do the long method we did yesterday, where you would do x times x and get x squared, and x times negative 8 and get negative 8x, and 8 times x and get positive 8x, and 8 times negative 8 and get negative 64. Well, you notice here we have our x squared, and there are no other x squareds. An x and an x, so I got to combine these two. Well, negative 8 plus 8 is 0, so there's no more x's. So I'm just left with a minus 64. Same answer. So you could do the long method and still get the same answer. But if you recognize them as the sum and difference of binomials, then all you have to do is multiply the first two together, a times a, get this answer, and multiply b times negative b, and you get negative 64. So a times a is a squared, positive b times negative b is a negative b squared. So we're going to show it to you with the other one that we did a second ago, which is the 5m. So we're going to do the 5m plus 2 and the 5m minus 2. So we first of all need our a value and our value. So notice that our a values are both 5m's. Beautiful. My b value is 2, my b value is 2. Beautiful. So I take my a value, which is 5m, and I square it. Value, which is 2, and I square it. So I'm going to multiply. 5 times 5 is 25, and m times m is m squared. Minus 2 times 2, 4. Beautiful. Alright, so I'll do a couple more with you, and then that should be good to go. Alright, so let's do 2 more of these, and make sure you got it under your belt. We're going to do b plus 6, and b minus 6, and we're going to do z minus 5, and z plus 5. Alright, so first thing we have to identify is our what? Beautiful a values. So a value is v. Are my a values the same? That they are. Are my b values the same? Beautiful, they are. So I take my a value and I square it, and I minus my b value squared. So I take my a value, v, and square it, and I get b squared, minus, and I take my b value, 6 times 6 is, beautiful, 36. I'm done. So identify my a value, then I notice they're both z. Identify my b value, they're both 5. So I take my a value, which is z, and I square it, minus my b value, which is 5, and I square it. So z squared is, well, z squared, minus 5 times 5, 25. And I'm done. That is the end of the lesson today. You have a quick little bit of few problems online tonight. You guys got this. Bam, beautiful.